Welcome to the Old Classic Car channel. In this video we're looking at three-wheelers, tricycles and other assorted three-wheeled vehicles, and we begin with this blue car, which is a 1956 Rollera Francaise. There's a collection of bubble cars and micro cars at the Goodwood Revival back in 2006, and that's where this one was photographed. Next up, the first of several Bond mini cars to feature in this particular video, this one from 1965. And here, the first of several photos from the Morgan Museum down in Kent, AKF 447. I think that's the family version of the Morgan, but I'm sure someone will let me know. And over to the NEC, and the first of many Bond bugs, or Bond 700 ESs, to feature in this video, this one from 1970. The NEC a few years ago, we got a side view, not the best photo in the world, of a 1957 Isetta 400 weight pickup. A very compact delivery vehicle indeed. Next up, XOK 800. That's a 1959 Scootacar three-wheeler. There's a Messerschmitt KR200 alongside it. Intriguing one here, XPD 805. That's an Argson Deluxe Invalid carriage from 1955, built by the Stanley Engineering Company. Back to the Morgan Museum. And we've got this particular machine. This is a Morgan Aero of 1924. Fantastic little museum. If you've not seen a video about it, please check that out as well. And over to Llangollen, North Wales, for their motor museum and this little Reliant Robin based van. This one dates to 1973. Peel Trident up next. Looks like something out of the Jetsons. This was back at the Goodwood Revival in 06. This one dates to 1965. Neat little Trojan here, JAS 659, that's a Trojan 200 from 1962. This intriguing three-wheeled motorcycle delivery vehicle is a 1949 Turner, apparently. More than that, I do not know. This is a great little machine, this is. 715 TLG, that's a Harding invalid car of 1961 but looks older, 148cc. Ice cream delivery vehicle here, three-wheeler, very neat indeed. Two peels for the price of one here. We've got a P50 on the left and a Trident on the right. P50 is Manchester registered. To the LEC again, we've got 597 AEL, BMW Isetta. That's an Isetta 300 from September of 1959 that was registered. And Harper here, a very unusual little machine here. This dates to July of 1923 and is in the Museum of Science and Industry in Manchester. Little Barclay three-wheeler here, 980 DA. This one was registered way back in February of 1960. To Gaydon, the British Motor Museum, we've got a J registration Reliant Supervan 3 in the livery of Royal Mail. Another three-wheeler Trojan 576 PGA, that's a Trojan 200 of 1963. Slightly more modern now, mid-1980s. We've got a Reliant here. This is a Rialto GLS of 1986. DTV 263. This is a first of several motorcycle and sidecar combinations to qualify for this video. This is a Brough Superior SS80 of 1937. Back to Bonds briefly. We've got HSG96. That's a Bond mini car of July 1950. Very popular little three-wheeler back in the day. And we spotted this one while on holiday this year, NLR 942, that's a 1952 Reliant van. Very neat little body, I like the little styling touches above the screen, and there's a rear three-quarter view of the same three-wheel Reliant. Great little vehicle. 909 EKN with a Heinkel cabin. This one dates to the late 1950s. This is at the Brooklands Motor Museum, the Morgan. This is a Morgan Jap, or JAP, from 1929. Quite a racing history to this one. Technically this is a one-wheeler, but it's a one-wheeler with associated two-wheel trailer, so we'll call it a three-wheeler. This is a Lister Auto truck. RAR 49R, this was at the Smallwood Vintage Rally quite a few years ago. This is an Invacar, invalid carriage, registered in January of 1977. The Bond bug here of the mid-1970s. This intriguing machine is a propeller-driven tricycle, about which I don't know a great deal. There is an information sheet there, circa 1930 tricycle micromotor, propeller drive. And this curvaceous little machine, 906 CMT, this is an Allard Clipper, a very rare survivor. This one dates to November of 1954, has a 347cc engine. The Morgan, this is a matchless powered example, BNC 84, this one was registered in March of 1935. You can clearly see the matchless V-twin hung out the front there. A little Trojan here, this one is another Trojan 200, this one registered in May of 1963. Quite a modern Reliant this time. This is dates to 2000, January 2000, a Reliant Robin. It's a very smart little AC Petite, again at the Goodwood Revival in 06. Very neat, this one dates to 1956, 350cc engine. I'm not quite sure what this one is, so if you can help me out, it's got what appears to be a supercharged Moto Guzzi engine hung out the front. But other than that, I do not know much about this one. Over in the Morgan Museum again, we've got XR8130, that's a Morgan of April 1924. Now the Trojan, this one is from November of 1962, seen at the NEC Classic Car Show. Quite a few bubble cars there this year. The Morgan WD731, that's another JAP powered Morgan, registered in March of 1930. Like I say, there is a video all about this museum elsewhere on the channel, so please check that out. Next up, we have a 1955 Bond Mini-Car Mark C family. Very useful information sheet there on the windscreen, OCG 7. Into the Haynes Motor Museum, we've got a few small vehicles here. In the foreground, we've got a KR200 Messerschmitt, YMW 779 from 1961. The same museum, we've got Yi 880, a Trojan cabin cruiser of 1964. The motorcycle and sidecar combo here. BC6987 is a new Hudson dating to March of 1923. That's a 450cc engine in that one. Now, I don't know a great deal about this one. It appears to be Citroen based, T registration, so 1978. I'm not sure if it's still registered or not. This was quite a few years ago we spotted that. Back to the NEC, big classic car show held there, and this is another Isetta 300 BMW from 1959. Now to the Astle Park Steam Rally, quite a few years ago. We've got an H registration, so 1970 Bond 875 van, all fiberglass and a Bondy Keep behind it. And the Bond Bug, a 700 ES, with its roof raised. Continuing with these three-wheelers, tricycles and so on, we've got AWP 27, that's another matchless powered Morgan, a Morgan Super Sports of 1936. If you can add any more information or corrections to the vehicles here, please pop a note into the comments. Another Bond mini car here, VSK 170. This one dates to 1961. A general overview of the Morgans at the Morgan Museum again here, down in Kent, near Cranbrook. Well worth a visit. Even if you're not particularly into Morgans, the memorabilia is something to behold. First of several photographs now featuring the Dion Bouton tricycles. This one has a trailer type thing on the back for carrying a passenger. A whole lineup of the Dion Boutons there. Next three-wheeler. Here's another BMW Isetta. You can see how when you open the front door, the steering assembly comes with it. whereas on the Heinkel the steering wheel and column stays where they are, they're fixed. Side-on view now of a Reliant pickup truck, a JAP powered Reliant, this one from 1935. Not much weather protection there. The rear three-quarter view now of a 1972 Bond bug. These have quite a following. This was in the auction area at the NEC in 2017, I think this was. Work in progress Bond bug. This was a few years ago, so it's probably been finished by now. If you know, please pop a note in the comments again. Another Peel P50 here, 299 HUG. When I actually check that registration, it's now on a 2013 Kia. So someone with very little soul has ripped the number off it. YP349T. Now I've no idea what this is. The registration no longer shows up, so either the vehicle's been scrapped, written off, or re-registered. If you can fill in the details of this well-made little car, please let me know. The Heinkel here, this one from November of 1956, down at the Haynes Motor Museum. There's that Messerschmitt that we saw before in the background. Morgan here at the Llangollen Motor Museum. This is JAP powered Morgan from 1928, this one. Very neat little car, surprisingly quick, very popular in VSCC racing. Next up, two photographs of a blue Scootacar. This was at Tatton Park Classic Car Show in the mid-2000s. The invalid carriage here, side-on view. I'm not quite sure what this is all about. I'm sure someone will know. CUV 754. This is at the Aldridge Transport Museum. There's also a video about this place. This is a Scammell mechanical horse, MH3 from 1937. Well worth a visit, please check out the video on that one. Back to Llangollen Museum, and we've got NDY 103, another BMW Isetta. This one dates to 1957. A Morgan three-wheeler of much more recent manufacture. URE 800. This is a little Reliant three-wheeler van, a Prince Regent van, a 1000 weight of the probably early 1950s, I would have thought. Late 40s, early 50s. The Bond here, this appears at many local classic car shows, 706 JEH, that's a Staffordshire registration. Rear three-quarter view of the same car. Information sheet says it's a Bond Mini Car Mark F, 1959. The Morgan here, matchless powered Morgan. This is a 1935 Morgan Supersport, bright yellow. A little Bond mini car here. This turned up at a local car boot sale a year or two back, a BSA sidecar combination. Really smart, regular use by all accounts when I spoke to the owner. AEG 606B, that's a Trojan, 200cc or just under powered version from July 1964. There's a front three-quarter view of the same vehicle. Again, you can see here the door open, but the steering column and wheels stay where they are, whereas on the Isetta it all goes with the door. It's hinged on the other side. Adding to the variety of this three-wheeled vehicle mix, we've got a John Deere tractor here. Back to road vehicles, GEC 243, that's the Heinkel, registered in October of 1959. FAU 888, that's another matchless powered Morgan. This one was registered in November of 1938. This was at the Tatton Park Classic Car Show quite a few years ago now. I think this was as well, RSY 316, it's another Barclay T60. This is the body shell of a BMW Isetta that I used to pass quite regularly once upon a time. It did disappear, so whether it went on to be restored or not, I do not know. But you could see it from the road, so I took a quick snap. Another Bond bug here. This is a J-Reg example from 1970. Again, this was one of the Tatton Parks in the mid-2000s, I would have thought. This was the Astor Park Steam Rally, I think, a little French micro car. I think it's a Mini-Comtesse of the early to mid-1970s. Back to the Goodwood Revival feature in '06, and this is a BSA Ladybird. Very unusual little three-wheeler from 1960. Not much in the way of weather protection there. And the Messerschmitt KR200 is next. I remember finding one of those in the back of a hangar at the Barton Airfield many years ago. I often wonder what happened to that one. There's a driver's eye view of the KR200 Messerschmitt. DRX235, that's another Reliant Regent. This is an 800 weight van of 1947. Another Tatton Park sighting many years ago, ED5843. That's another Jap-powered Morgan from March of 1930. Parked up in the auto jumbo section. Here's a driver's view, kind of the same Morgan. Pointed there to keep you occupied. This is another Reliant supervan. I think this was used in a Welsh children's TV series quite a few years ago. We spotted this outside the tin building. I think there was some filming going on, so I took a quick photo. Over to Portugal briefly. We've got a Piaggio Ape, or Ape. Little delivery van there, three-wheeler. The Bond Bug, Tatton Park again. A very damp classic car show this was. A nice little Austin 7 Chummy alongside it. 679 NBJ. This was at the Malvern Classic Car Show in the mid to late 2000s. This is a Scootacar registered in September of 1962. And there's a rear view of the same car, the spare wheel hung on the back there. Very neat little car indeed. I'd be quite happy if I found one of those in the shed somewhere. Back to the Astor Park Show. This was in 2007. We got 490 DFK. And the BMW Isetta, this one registered for the road here in July of 1960. This was at the NEC in 2021. This is a Carter electric invalid vehicle, registered in April of 1936. Another one of those Lister auto trucks, single wheel at the front, 2 extra wheels in the trailer, so we'll call it a three-wheeler. I think we've seen this one before. This is a mid-blue A registration Bond minicar of the early 1960s. Anyone who views the Hubnut channel will recognise Tuck. This is a little Invacar registered in June of 1972. This was the NEC in 2021. Still plenty of three-wheelers to go, and here we've got a Frisky. This is a Family 3, a three-wheeler. These were built only from 1958 to 1959. There was the Frisky Sport, but that was a four-wheeler. Here's a rear view of the three-wheeled Family 3 model. Very few of these survive now. XXN 682, that's a Scammell Scarab, a little articulated vehicle from 1955, very popular with the railways. The Peel P50 down at Goodwood. This one dates, or registered anyway, 1964, B registration. YCA 278, a Welsh registered Isetta 300 from 1961. A bit of a flower power example alongside it as well. Very racy Norton sidecar combination there. This was at Prescott, the hill climb venue. NPB 840D, this was at the Smallwood Vintage Rally a few years ago. This is an Invacar Model 57 from 1966. There's a rear view of the same little vehicle. It's the only one of these I've ever seen. Still a few three-wheelers to go. A couple of the Dion Boutons here. This was down at Bicester Heritage at one of their meetings a few years back. Former airfield, former World War II airfield, of course. Back to Morgan's, JAP Morgan. This is a 1934 Morgan Super Sports. Very rapid little three-wheeler, that one. The Royal Mail van, a Reliant Supervan 3, just like Del Boys. L registration, so 1972 to 1973 that series ran for. The little Isetta, a bright orange example this time. That was seen earlier this year. This was at an evening meet many years ago, a vintage motorcycle meet. This is a Reliant Ant pickup tipper truck. A three-wheeler tipper. Quite a rare sight nowadays. KHF 883, that's another Bond mini-car of the late 50s, early 60s. I remember Dad had something similar to that and the engine fell out at a pedestrian crossing, he said. MMA 592, that's another Reliant of March 1950. There's the Bond in the background. A gaggle of Morgans here at the Prescott Hill climb. If you own any of the vehicles in this video, please say hello in the comments. I'd be interested to hear where these vehicles are at now. And over to Weston Park Classic Car Show. This was about 2006 or 7, another Isetta XSK 498 from 1959. Another Scammell Scarab KYH 508, an articulated little truck. This one registered in May of 1950. Another Peel Trident. Great little vehicle, it must get a bit hot on a sunny day. There's a rear view of it, Irish registration. Another three-wheeler here, a little Barclay T60 from 1960. Again at the Good Revival in 06. Another Morgan, and this is a JAP one, registered in January of 1934. I think this was at Tatton Park Classic Car Show. A trio of three-wheelers here. We've got a Trojan, a Heinkel, and another Heinkel. Great stuff. Just a few more to go now. There's a peek in through the top of the Trojan. Again, the door's open, but all the steering assembly and dashboard stays exactly where it is. You have to clamber around it. A variety here, we've got Bond on the left, we've got another Isetta in the middle, a Sinclair C5 at the top right, and a Heinkel at the bottom right. This amazing machine is a 1957 Brutch Mopetta 408 EPD. What a great survivor that is. CWL 588, another Morgan Jap. And finally a refueler. These were introduced in the late 1930s and were built for several years with Ford side valve running gear. I think it's a three-wheeler, but I can't quite see from this angle. Anyway, that refueler rounds out this collection of photographs featuring classic three-wheelers, bubble cars, tricycles, and so on. I hope that was of interest. Please have a look at some of the other videos on the channel. I'll include a link to them at the end of this video and more videos along very, very soon. Bye for now.